Hey, here we go. Welcome to the stage, Chef Brandon Stewart, Forest City National Golf and Country Club. Welcome back, Chef.
All right, thank you, Carol. I appreciate it. I love being back here every year. I think this is probably my fourth or fifth time being here.
Yeah, I think so.
I think something like that. We had a little break during COVID, and then we come back. So here we are. Welcome, everybody. Have anybody been to the Wine and Food Show before? All right, so we got a lot of people out here. So again, rebranding, Taste X, right? A great experience, bringing something new to the London scene. Making a big plan to bring in some local purveyors and suppliers, but also going from coast to coast, as you've seen at the bar there, with a lot of the different variety that we have to offer. So I'm gonna get right into it because as you can see, there's a lot going on here, right? So what we're gonna be doing today is a play on a classic, Salmon Oscar. Does anybody know what Salmon Oscar? Anybody had it? See, oh, there we go, we got one chef. There we go, yeah. So, a little bit? Oh, it looks great, fantastic. Salmon Oscar, so what I like to do is, if you guys have seen what my style is, what's old is new, okay? Salmon Oscar is a classic dish. Now, what we've done here is you can Oscar basically anything, and what we're talking about Oscaring is it could be something, whether it's like a shellfish on top of another protein. So you can have a steak Oscar, a chicken Oscar, salmon Oscar, whatever you please. Today what we're using fresh Atlantic salmon fillet, and we're doing Atlantic crab, okay? And I'm gonna walk you through what everything is before I start going, and then we're gonna jump right into the salmon, and I preheated all my pans. I get used to this induction cooking top, which obviously takes a little bit of getting used to. In the kitchen, we like our gas stoves. They work great, right? So we're gonna be working here, and the chefs in the back, I brought 3 of my chefs in here today doing the sampling. And just like Carol said, I'm actually the executive chef of Forest City National Golf Club and Green Hills Country Club. Has anybody heard of Forest City? Green Hills? Okay, it's like staples in the city of London for sure. Any avid golfers? We got a few. Okay, perfect. Okay, so today, steak Oscar, salmon Oscar. As you can see, I've got a preheated pan here, and that's gonna be a big part in getting the salmon going, and that's what we're gonna start with. So what I've done today is I'm gonna show you, we're gonna butterfly the salmon. We're gonna do this a different way. It's more of a roulade. So I'm gonna butterfly the salmon. It's gonna be opened. I'm gonna put the crab filling. The crab is Atlantic crab, fresh herbs, some seasoning, some lemon zest, and some cream cheese, okay? And we're gonna be putting that in. We're gonna be rolling it like a roulade and tying it off with a leek tie. And that's what you see right here. Now to get the leek tie, I've taken a leek is in the onion family, obviously, nice long, cutting off the core and then cutting long strips, about a 1/4 inch thick. Okay, and they look like this here, right? And it's so malleable because what I've done is I've blanched it in boiling water for about 20 seconds right into an ice bath, okay? It stops the cooking process, gives it that vibrant cover, but also makes it really malleable so we can tie it off, and I'll show you that as well. For the topper here, we've got a nice casual Dijon mustard, and then our herb crust, and that's gonna go on top. It's gonna be vibrant. I'm big on colors. My chefs will tell you this, my guests, my members, everybody, it's all about color with me, flavor and color. This is a curly parsley with panko, a little bit of lemon zest, a little bit of salt, blitzed up fine, okay? Nice vibrant color there, and that's gonna add texture and flavor to the dish as well. So we're gonna get right into that. Then I've got a nice hollandaise I've made ahead of time, okay? And we're gonna mix some chives into that when that gets warm. I've got some fingerling potatoes, already pre-blanched, al dente, okay? So again, boiling water, turned down to a simmer, putting the potatoes in, took about 10, 12 minutes, whatever it be. If they're full, cutting them once they're cooled down, and drying them out so no moisture. Because we know if you saute and there's water, you're gonna get flame, smoke, it's not gonna get a good sear at all. Our fresh herbs. Now, every year I come here and every year I bring my fresh herb mix. My chefs in the back are probably laughing at me right now explaining this because they hear it every single day, right? Fresh herbs, I put in a lot of my dishes. It really elevates a lot of things. It's great for being in a dish, in a marinade, or even to finish. So it's 50% curly parsley, 25% thyme, and 25% rosemary. Chopped up fine, mixed together, goes great with anything. Our veg today that we're gonna be working with, we got a nice broccolini. Again, I blanched them ahead of time as well to save time. Boiling water right into an ice bath, probably about 30, 45 seconds into the water, right into an ice bath. It stops the cooking process, and it also gives a vibrant color, and that's why you see everything vibrant orange, same process for the carrot, baby top carrots, and we just got our raw bell pepper right there. Again, we're just giving variety and color. Okay, so let's get going on the salmon. So, in order to butterfly salmon, now this isn't something that everybody does, and I don't expect people to be trying this at home, so I'm gonna show you how we do it in the restaurant, okay? At home, you could do this whole dish by not butterflying it and just putting all the ingredients in the same order on top and just baking it normal, okay? What I would do if that was the case, I would take the full salmon, I would season it, I would sear it in the pan, presentation side, and then I would crust it and bake it in the oven to finish, okay? So when we butterfly the salmon, the idea is to open it up like a book. We're gonna get a long piece of salmon fillet here. So starting about 2/3 of the way down the salmon, even though there's a little bit of tear in here, that's okay, because I'm gonna account for that when I roll it a certain way so that it doesn't actually break apart. So we're just gonna go in here. It's not right in the middle. We're going just on top, about 1/3 of the way down. I'm gonna open that up gently, butterfly that, okay? I'm being very cautious about the part that has a little tear in it. That doesn't scare me at all, it's just a matter of how we work with it. We're going to go 2/3 of the way the other way here. Okay, folding it open, beautiful piece. Now, that is the presentation side. What we want to do is we want to flip it, because what we don't want to see on the outside of the salmon is the skin side. Okay, it's got like a gray, light brown texture. It's not very appealing visually, right? So again, we're gonna fill this side and we're gonna roll it now. So again, using our crab mixture here, we don't wanna go too heavy, because again, it has to roll, it has to bake, okay? But we're gonna be consistent. Getting across, I'm just checking my pans to make sure we're still at good temperature. Like I said, getting used to these induction cooktops. And I shouldn't say that because I do have it at home. Okay. And we got my sous chef from Green Hills, Ryland, here on stage, helping me out. Let's give him a round of applause, guys. He's been helping me out all day. It's been great. Okay, back to the salmon here. Now, this is the side where we had the tear. Obviously, for it to have more of a foundation, we're gonna start rolling that so it's in the center. If we have it on the outside, then we're playing with it, right? So again, here we go. We're gonna go firm but gentle when we roll. Okay. All right, it's working out perfectly. All right, so there we go. Now, sometimes I can't see the cameras. Maybe they got like a bird's eye view. I see it there now. As you can see, a nice little pinwheel. Now, in order for that to stay together, it has two purposes. We have the leak tie. Where that seam was, right here, that's where I want the knot to be. It's the tightest port. It's gonna keep the salmon nice and tight. I do multiples of these because sometimes, if I get a little bit, a little too, don't know my own strength, it can break. But if you do it properly and you don't overcook them when you blanch them, they will hold very well and they tie. So again, right dead center, firm but gentle. Okay, good. And we're just gonna make sure. This is one of those short ones, making me work for it, but that is okay. There we go.
There you go, it looks great.
I did it, okay. Okay, so now we got our salmon here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna sear it equally on both sides. We're gonna get a nice hard sear. Again, we're changing flavor profiles when we crust something with a hard sear as opposed to a soft saute. Changes the flavor profile and the texture. Okay, and just because, presentation side, I am gonna give it a little bit of a season. A little bit of salt there. I'm not gonna go too heavy because the filling has some, the crust has some, and the Dijon is a little salty on its own, so we're just gonna give it a nice sear like that. going over to our pan, nice and hot. Presentation side down, and you hear it going right away. Meanwhile, we're gonna move on to the potatoes and the vegetables. Okay, so we got another pan nice and hot here. We have our fingerling potatoes, as I said. Now we have our skin side and our flesh side. We want to sear them. I like to start flesh side down. It's going to give it a nice golden brown color, right? Presentation, optics. You know, we eat with our eyes before we eat with our mouths, right? So it's very important. Okay? So I'm going to gently start setting these in here. Just a little bit. People can use olive oil, canola oil. Now, typically I do use canola oil more than olive oil. Some chefs are one way or the other. My reasoning is flavor. Olive oil changes the flavor profile because it has a flavor to it, right? So depending on what you're trying to achieve is what oil you're going to use. There's finishing oils, avocado oils, walnut oils, all these different types of oils. But I like mine to be neutral because I like to build the flavors and then add to it, okay? And we're already starting to see a nice color forming on here. A little bit of moisture in the pan, and that's why you're getting that pop and sizzle like I was talking about. Our salmon, now I can see it up here, but what's happening is that it's starting to cook upwards. And just by my experience, I know when I'm gonna turn it over, I'm gonna cook it equally on the other side. If I cook it on one side and then flip it and just put it in the oven, it's gonna take forever to cook all the way through. But if you cook it equally on both sides, your cooking time in the oven decreases, and then again, you get a nice flaky salmon as opposed to a dry one as well. Okay, let's look here. You see the color on those potatoes starting to form? Nice and early. That's great.
Chef.
Yes.
So one of the great things about taste decks that we're doing a little bit differently is we're pairing the food with a wine.
Yes. So beforehand, you had asked me what would I pair with this, and we went with a nice, I think it was Chardonnay.
Yes.
Went with a nice Chardonnay. This is Niagara on the Lake. We got a Stratus 2023 vintage, a nice white Chardonnay there. We just tried it up on stage here. You probably saw us take a little sample. Absolutely beautiful, nice and crisp, and will accent this dish perfectly. So a nice Chardonnay with this, that would be my recommendation.
And we're going to bring some out and let you taste some.
Oh, perfect. All right, so now let's see the crust forming here. You can see that. I'm gonna look at the camera over here. Maybe we'll get a bird's eye view. There we go, there we go. Okay, so we're still cooking in here in the potatoes. We're gonna pull them off the heat for a second, and we're gonna move on to our next portion, which is the hollandaise sauce. Now, hollandaise sauce, mostly made of egg yolks. Egg yolks, Dijon, a little bit of Tabasco, lemon juice, salt, and melted butter. The whole idea here is that it's mostly egg yolks. So if we have a pan that's way too hot, it's gonna curdle, you're gonna have scrambled eggs. Not what we're going for. So, again, my pan's a little warm, so I am gonna take it off the heat for a second. I'm just gonna put it over here. I guess this is probably, here we go. There, it won't burn on that pan. Just needs a minute. The salmon's gonna go in the oven. It's the longest ticket thing. It's gonna take about 15 minutes, but we got a lot to do before that. Our potatoes as well, we're gonna finish them with a little bit of mounted cold butter and some fresh herbs, a little bit of salt as well. Salting them now. You salt things too early, I find it draws out the moisture, right? That's what salt does, adds flavor, seasoning, draws out the moisture, and depending on what you're seasoning. And that moisture is just gonna saute in the pan, you're not gonna get a good sear. So I like to get a little bit of a sear before I actually season. So that's what we've done there. All right, let's take a look at this pan here. And like I said, our hollandaise here, beautiful. Now, you can do the traditional way on the stove top on a bain-marie, whisk your life away. And then I have my trick of the trade. If you have a Vitamix or a really powerful blender, that's what I like to do in the restaurant. It makes a beautiful, velvety, smooth hollandaise. And it's really quick and you get the same result. Okay. Salmon, cooking for the same amount of time. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in the oven for a couple minutes. I'm gonna pull it back out, and then I'm gonna crust it, okay? And then we're gonna finish baking. How you doing in the oven, Chef? All good? Can we turn it sideways? Does that fit? I think it might work. Let's see. Okay, no worries at all.
We'll go carrots out, Chef.
We got this.
Got that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chef.
juggling in the oven. Here we go. All right. So, potatoes looking good. We got a little bit of a sear on both sides there. Fantastic. And like I said, we're just going to put those off to the side for now. Turn off our induction. Okay. Hollandaise is next. Okay.
I can smell it from back here. It's
You
starting
can. You get a little bit of a seafood flavor in there.
Oh, it smells great.
So again, like I was saying with the hollandaise, slow, slow, slow. So we're gonna make sure we got the right burner here. Turn it right down. Got my spatula, and it's already starting to get warm just by the heat of the pan. I don't even know if I need to put this on the stove. You can see on the edges it's starting to get a little hot, so we're just gonna leave it. I'm gonna let the pan do the job for me. Throw a little bit of chive in there. Okay, mix it all up. We're gonna set that aside just for now. All right. Hollandaise set aside. Now we've got our vegetables. And like I said, we've started with a broccolini, baby top carrots, and a nice red bell pepper. I'll give myself a little bit more space and use the larger pan. So every year that I come back here, everybody always asks, you work at private golf clubs. Why are you here? We can't even go eat there if we're not a member or we don't know a member. Funny enough, over the last year, what we've decided to do is open up. It's a brand new thing between Forest City and Green Hills, is opening up a Diners Club membership as well. So this is beyond, it has nothing to do with golf or pickleball or tennis. It is merely to use the facilities, our dining and our beverages, along with our events as well. So it's a whole thing. I don't have the details on cost and stuff like that, but it is very reasonable for what we're putting out at the clubs. And like I said, we've taken Green Hills Golf Club and Forest City. Forest City was public for about 27 years, right? So most people in London know about it, have been there. At 20, am I dating you a little bit? Is that why? You're like, well, a little bit. So for the past 4 years, we've been private. So a whole new ball game over there. All right, so while we're waiting on our veg pan to heat up, I am gonna take a little bit of butter, like I had said. I wanna make sure I've got, no big deal. We use what we need. Okay, we're gonna throw a little knob of cold butter in there. Taking it off the heat like I did, we're just gonna let it. Now, what is the butter doing? Two things, flavor and presentation. It's giving the potatoes a nice, really shine to them as well, okay? I use unsalted butter, obviously, because then I can control the salt content in the whole dish. Most chefs, unsalted butter is the way to go. Okay, a little bit of fresh herbs in there. Okay, let that start cracking. You're gonna start smelling some fresh herbs out there as well. There we go. All right. So, those guys are done there. Now for the veg. How are we doing on the samples out there, Chef? Not too bad? Here, we're gonna check the temperature here. Now, for salmon, because it's a roulade, there's a filling, okay? We gotta be careful what we're temping. Just like anything else, if you stuff a chicken, stuff a salmon, whatever it be, if you're putting the thermometer into the stuffing, you're gonna get the temp of the stuffing. And it's always gonna be lower than the temp of the meat, okay? So we gotta be careful of how we're temping this. I had it wrapped in the center, so I'm gonna always temp it a couple of times to see if I get around the same temperature. And if that's the case, then I'm gonna proceed, okay? I like to cook my salmons. Believe it, most people like, it has to be well done. It's seafood, it has to be well done. It's a misconception. I like to cook my seafood, especially fish, 140, 145 degrees. Right at medium well, more on the medium side, okay? You get a nice, moist, tender fish. All right, and we're creeping up here. We're about 110, 115. We're gonna put it back in, got another 5 minutes or so, but we got some stuff to do. So, in the restaurant, what I like to teach my guys, make sure, extra high, is how this would be done in a restaurant, right? So that's kind of what I like to explain as well. If you were to order this dish in a restaurant, how would it come to you, and what does it take to put it on the plate to present? Now, in a restaurant, we have multiple stations. You got saute station, grill station, fryer station, entremetier station, pizza salad, whatever your restaurant is designed to do. And all these cooks are trained in different stations. Some are jacks of all trades, right? And that's what we like to get to, right? The more they know, the better it is for the whole line. You have a stronger team. So in this dish specifically, what would happen, the chef would call, okay, ordering 1 salmon Oscar. First thing goes, everybody on the line knows their job. Everybody knows what it takes to do that dish if it's part of their station. First off, you're gonna have your guy on pans. He's gonna make sure he's gonna take a salmon portion that we would have pre-done, pre-rolled for service that night. And we would take it and we would do the part where we would sear it. Why? Because it takes the longest, right? So now this dish is all timed out by the salmon. That's how we time it. So, and this is only if we have 1 dish on the bill. Imagine we had 7 or 8 or 10 or 12. Everybody knows what they have to do to get to the middle. And the chef in the middle running the line will call and dictate and kind of orchestrate, if you will, how everything comes up so it all comes up at the same time. So, salmon's in. The next thing that we would do is the potatoes. They take second longest. Third, veg. Probably 1 guy doing both of those jobs because he's on pans. And then you have sauce. That would be the last thing done because of how gentle it needs to heat up. So you want to do that right before it goes to the plate. If it sits in a hot pan that was on the stove, it's going to curdle while it's waiting, okay? So we're back in the pan here. Now, going to our veg here, they all have different densities, obviously. We know the most dense here out of the veg is our carrot, okay? When you're doing, anybody can just throw veg in the pan. That's easy. But what we want to do is make sure that none of the veg overcooks before all the other veg is done, okay? So we are going to start with our carrots. Throw a couple in here, and we're going to saute that gently here, get a little bit of color, move it around in the pan, let it get to know the oil. There we go. Now again, I'm not going to season these right yet because it will draw out a little bit more of the moisture. I'm going to give a little bit of texture on there before I finish it. We got our salmon in here. I'm going to say it needs another couple of minutes, 3 minutes. Checking our hollandaise. Beautiful. Did not catch at all. Okay. Another thing that I brought, which I've brought a few times before, is my red beet puree. It's a beautiful color. And that is done by blanching some red beets after they're peeled. Once they're fully cooked, I put them in a pot with some cream, garlic, onions, salt, and then I put a cartouche, which is parchment paper with a little hole for steam to come out, and that you put that over top of the liquid. And what that does is it reduces the amount that's evaporated in the cooking process. So the cream and all those ingredients, the beets and everything, are coming together and cooking together in the liquid. Then we're gonna blitz it on high in the VitaPrep, finish it with a little bit of lemon and a little bit of salt, and that's the color that you get right there. And I love using it for purees and garnishes as well. Okay, we got our bell pepper in there. Again, second, we're just gonna get a little sear. I am gonna season it now because the carrots are looking really good. And we're gonna pull out our salmon. They're in there. Thank you. Oh, you need them. Look at that. I made all the rules today, and here I am breaking my own rules. There you are, chef. You're good to go. All right, just like we talked about before, here is our salmon. We're gonna crust it really quick. Gonna finish our broccolini there, a couple pieces of broccolini. Again, tiny bit of salt. We're gonna let that come together. I'm gonna turn it off. And we're gonna finish with a knob of butter. Again, gives it that shine, but also adds flavor as well. Meanwhile, we're gonna take our Dijon. Okay? Doesn't have to be too heavy. It accompanies and really adds to the flavor profile is the Dijon with the salmon. If you're not a salmon person, I've had salmon people go, I don't even like salmon, but the way you did it, I absolutely love it, right? Changes everything. All right, we're gonna take this off the heat as well. Put it back here for 1 second. We're gonna get the crust on here. So we've got our nice herb crust that we've talked about. Not too heavy. We're gonna pat it down into the Dijon. And I put it on, if you put it on too early, it's gonna get dark. It's gonna look brown. And again, we're trying to keep the vibrant colors here. So again, putting it on 3/4 of the way through, finishing in the oven just to heat it up and to bake that Dijon right on there. Okay, that'll probably take 3 minutes. We have our potatoes, we've got our hollandaise, we've got our veg, we've got our puree. We are ready to go. Okay. So back what I was saying, these Diner Club memberships that we've come across, brand new thing. All you got to do is just kind of reach out to the club. If you know anybody, you guys can inquire about it. But like I said, it is a great program that we started. We've already, I think in the first month, we were like, we just want to see a couple hundred people. Boom, just like that. I think we actually had a wait list. We didn't know we were going to do it. But now we're looking at it again to expand the membership. And that includes Diner members as well. Okay. So again, I'm just going to use my nice white plate, bistro plate from the restaurant. A glass of wine. Okay. Yeah, it says I got 2 more minutes on there and then we're going to get it done. Does anybody have any questions so far? I know I talk a lot, so I probably answered most questions. All right, you guys are just ready for samples.
They're so close.
I know.
This is so good.
You have to imagine that we have about 5 or 6 people back there right now.
There's a backstage camera.
There's a back. I'm sure you guys can probably see it. They're working away. The other guys, a couple people helping out. Every time I come, they're like, why do you put so many ingredients on the plate? So they're back there having fun, so you guys will get those samples as well. How was the wine? Do you guys like nice, crisp, nice and chilled? Perfect. Okay.
Nice Canadian wine.
Absolutely.
We love local.
Okay, so we're going to go to the plate now, because by the time I get through this portion, the salmon will be done. Okay? So when I present, again, strategically placing things. So what I'm going to try to do is the idea is I'm kind of making almost like a foundation for the salmon to sit on. I don't want it to look like a plate at home where everything's like a clock. Starch at 10, veg at 2. So we're going to really try to bring it all together. I like to call it bistro style. Okay? Okay, potatoes. And we got our veg over here. All right. So again, we're going to play with it. I think what we're going to do, just looking at the plate. Now, we've taken so much time to prep all these different ingredients, it would be a big shame if we didn't show all of them. A lot of things that it bothers me is, and I tell my guys, I'm like, if you put all the effort into prepping every single one of these individually, why would you hide them, right? People will hide them under the meat, under the potatoes. We want everything to be visible. Okay. So, people would nappe the sauce over it. Me personally, I want to show that crust. The crust itself, if I were to pour the sauce over it, it's going to make the sauce soggy. The crust soggy. So we want to keep that resistance and we want to make sure that it maintains the crust. So we're actually going to be putting the hollandaise down first. I'm going to mix it up here.
We're going to bring out some samples now, Chef.
Absolutely.
They look so good.
All right. Okay.
So be patient with the service because only 4 plates fit on 1 tray.
Oh, yeah.
So there's lots of food.
I'm being ambitious every time, right?
And every time you never disappoint. We love what you do.
Okay, so here we go. We've got a beautiful salmon, tied off perfectly. Couldn't ask for a better presentation. Okay. Let's see here, best place to put that, right there. Safety first. Okay, so tonight for our garnish, as you can see, I've chose some sorrel. Sorrel, it's one of the most beautiful micro garnishes that you've seen. And, if you actually taste it, what I like to say, if you taste it raw, it almost tastes like an unripened strawberry, okay? So it actually has taste to it. Now, for this type of dish, some people will place them around. I'm not a tweezer guy. I'm sure we've seen that in some of our more high-end dishes. But what I like to do is get a little bit of a sprig, pinching from the bottom, turning it, we've got ourselves a little blossom here. And we're gonna stick it coming out of the side. And right there is our salmon Oscar with a hollandaise sauce, fingerling potatoes, and roasted vegetables. Right there for you. So thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. So now you guys are getting some going around here, getting a little bit of everything. Probably one of the bigger samples you've probably seen tonight anyways. So like I said, I hope you all enjoy it. Let me know, give me some feedback, absolutely, as they come around. Does anybody have any questions, whether it's about the food, the club, cooking in general? I'm completely open.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think what's happening right now, Carol, is we're getting the silent treatment while everybody's eating.
Well, I think there's a bit of shock when they look at what they're gonna
I think so. We went all out again this year. So I like to make sure that we do that and everybody gets a little bit of everything. You like that, sir? Oh, fantastic. You like that? Perfect there. You guys get a little bit of crab in there as well. And hopefully no shellfish allergies. All right. Well, good.
So one of the great things when we were out visiting you at Forest City National was looking at it as a wedding venue.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And such a great location.
So, and thank you for mentioning that. Actually, that's the other thing too. Even though we're a private club, Green Hills and Forest City, we still welcome outside business to support the club. So anything from anniversary parties to birthdays to weddings, anything and any event, outside tournaments for businesses, family functions, whatever it be, we have the space for it, and it doesn't matter if you're a member or not, okay? And the cool part is we actually built a secondary lounge in the bottom of Forest City, and that actually is another rental space that we have. At Green Hills, if you were there 5 years ago, you would know how, it needed a little upkeep. It needed a little bit of work and renovation. Over the last 4 to 5 years, the owners, what we do is we have the owner of Echo Valley, okay, and the owner of Forest City National. And they got together and partnered up and bought Green Hills, right? They're a great team, and I'm really, really fortunate to work for these gentlemen. And we have a great team out there, great management as well, that we've drawn from all of the best clubs around the city.
Absolutely.
Poached a few along the way,
Well, and I love that they're so generous to let you bring in your whole team.
Absolutely.
And that they've done such a great job with these amazing ingredients, and to watch them with precision execute is amazing.
Thank you. Oh, you're making me blush, Carol. I
tell you. Well, it's all good.
Are we liking it over here? Enjoying it? Awesome. There we go. So this is a dish that I have had on the menu in the past. You'll see it somewhere in the fall, winter. It's really comforting and like hearty, and so it brings back a lot of memories from when I was growing up and learning in the industry. In the restaurant, like I said, what's old is new. That's my style. So if you read most of my menus, you're going to see a lot of old school terminology, but brought into a nouveau way and presented in a new way. And that's what we're doing at Forest City and Green Hills as well.
And elevating it in a really easy to do way.
Absolutely, elevating it, right? Taking it into the new generation.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, perfect.
And old is new because it was good in the first place.
Right, absolutely, right? I think the thing people got, and there's no problem with a lot of chefs reinventing or coming up with new things along the way, but we got to get back to the basics sometimes. We got to get back to where it all started, and that's what I love to do, is bring old back to the forefront, and that's what you guys are tasting this evening. So again, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm also here tomorrow. I'm sure you guys are done for the weekend, but I'm also here tomorrow in the afternoon and the evening. And if I see you around the clubs, come say hi. Other than that, guys, thank you so much. Drive safe tonight and have a great weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chef.